and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be talking about and playing the game Ars Notoria. It's in its early playtest phase, and like any game that hits the market in a test phase, you're going to find things that are kind of glitchy, and it's par for the course. There's no game that's coded perfectly that comes out of the gate right to market. It goes through test phases. Usually back in the day we used to call them alpha testing, and then you'd get into pre-beta testing, and then you would have beta testing, and then the product would then go to market. So those phases could take up to a year and a half before it went to market. But now with the way Steam does its early access, and developers are trying to get money in their pockets to pay their employees, things have changed for the industry a little bit. It goes into like a pre-release, I guess the best way I could say it is it goes onto the marketplace for a year as really in a pre-stage, full release kind of atmosphere, ethos, or whatever you want to call it. So usually I guess early access is the easiest term to use for it, because that's what it is. It's early access. So game companies put it on Steam as early access, but you could equate that year of early access where they generate revenue, because while it's an early access, they can charge you for the product. But that equivalents to pre-beta back in the day. So back in the day, the product wouldn't see the light of day unless it was done, or at least close to done, with planned add-ons. But this is where we're at here in today's climate. It's all about the pre-access and getting it to the masses so that people can pay for their overhead. You know what I mean? Because building video games is not free. It's, if it's a hobby and it's something you wish to do as a hobby and you want to share your hobby with the world, then I guess you could do it for free. But most people build games like this for the love of doing it and for the money, money, money. So we're going to look at the, I'm only long-winding this is because I'm still downloading the patch. Okay, so they fixed an issue with the quick slot disappears while swapping to the other quick slots. Fixed an issue when the wrong item was updated after assigning a new quick slot. Improved quick slot interaction, and now and automatically sheathed and unsheathed when used from the quick slot. Fixed an issue when unequipping an item that is also in a quick slot. So this is really a lot of inventory control. Granted, this needed to be fixed. Some of the things that I have reported and found with the game, really, to my opinion, the stuff that I've reported, I mean, I noticed some of this stuff that being fixed here in this patch. But I found other core things that I felt that needed to be reported first. When it comes to my testing style is, if I find 9 things that are wrong with the game, I grab the first 2 most priority, and that's what I report. Because video games are like a house of cards. So if you can address the 2 biggest concerns, maybe the other issues resolve themselves, or you can get a better handle on those issues later on. But the fix minor glitchy things when you've got major glitchy things that need to be addressed can be problematic for a developer. And I've watched developers go down rabbit holes to micro fix every little issue that's reported that are not. I mean, I even had a developer change the skin color of a wall just because somebody was offended by its default color. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you spend time fixing that issues when you've got major lag concerns, syncing issues, and this is with other games. And I've seen developers go down that rabbit hole of picking the low fruit of what crap that we don't even need fixed, and they should be addressing more of their efforts into fixing some of the beefier, more global issues around their product. Now, the team for Ars Notoria is a smaller team, so let's just hope that they're all working on their little parts of it. So really, you probably read this while I've had it up on the screen. It's more of the inventory control. So let's play a little bit. It says it's incoming soon here. I think I might have to go to my desktop to fire this thing because, or I can go to the library and do it from here because this is the play test. It says I've played 2.1 hours. Well, with this playing that we're going to do now, I'm going to be wiping out that progress. But it didn't really matter that I'm going to be doing that because the game system had already done that to me. Because they're having a syncing save issue problem with the game. So every time I got into the game to test yesterday, I had lost at least 40 minutes of progress. And even after leaving the game properly and making sure that it saved, I'd go back in and I'd still lose 40 minutes of progress. So I basically stopped testing the game. So I'm hoping, as of last night, I had stopped testing. So I've got this character here. It looks like there's no delete command. There's no deleting of this old character. Yeah, it doesn't look like that's the case. So I guess I'm just going to go to... Wait a minute. There's got to be a way to wipe out the save files. I guess not. That's problematic. Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable being able to delete this character. And there'd be a delete option down here. And I just don't see it unless Targus is an idiot and it's in front of him. Well, we're going to go new. I'm not really... what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this Tarkus 1. I'll call it Tarkus 1. And we'll go back into the world. And I'm going to hit accept. Yeah, I would hope that you'd be able to delete these. Even the host save file, I would love to be able to delete this so that I could start new. So I'll have to go to new again here. I'm going to go back to the hardest setting because that's what I like to do is test a video game at the hardest setting. The name of the server is I'll just call it H for now. And this is just self-generating. I'm just going to hit confirm. And so now we're at day 1 with a clean character, and I'm going to hit accept. We're going to see the intro video again, the origin story video. I don't think I can skip by it. No. Press any button. Press any button to skip the cutscene. Okay, obviously not the escape button. All right, the escape button brought up the menu. So hit any other button to get past the cutscene. Every other button but the escape button. All right, so here we are. We're in the world starting new. And the first thing I'm going to do, the tumbleweed thing is still going on with the objects. The first thing I'm going to do is get some wood. I guess I'll have to fight this rat. No, I'm not going to fight the rat. I'm going to get some wood in my hands so that I can build my first sword. So we just got to... I just got to find one of those bushes. And like before, all the journal stuff is updating. The tutorial quests are updating. That's going to happen every time you log into a new instance with a new character or a new world or new seed. All right. I think I need, if I remember correctly, I think I need 6 logs to make the, let's just go to I. Actually, I think it's under J. It is. It's under J, crafting. And what I want to do is make a wooden sword, a training sword. And I think, oh no, it's only 4. So I only need to attack 2 trees, and the mini map is telling me there's a log over here that I can pick up. So there's one right there. And let's see here. Okay, so that should have given me the 4 I need. So going back to J and go to crafting, training sword, craft. All right, so I should now have that in my inventory. I should be able to bring it over to here, and I should be able to bring it down into the quick slot. See, I just dragged it down into the quick slot here. So I should be able to hit the 1 button, and I should have it in my hand and put it back. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, you're probably asking yourself, is because this was part of the patch notes that they just did. So I wanted to make sure that this was working. But don't you like that effect? Watch the sword come out. It's almost like a effect because it's a shadowing of the sword. See, it's shadowing itself as it's going back. That's pretty cool. That's kind of cool. All right. So now we'll go up and do some rat killing, because now that I've got a weapon in my hand, that makes sense. Now, you can't loot these wagons unless you take care of the hostile beasties that are around the place. Now, one of the things that I had pointed out in my testing is these beasties seem to blend in a lot. Come on. Okay, I skilled unlocked the... so now I should be able to go to inventory, go to skill, and it says the sword's unlocked. Now, remember in my video yesterday, I told you I had allocated my points already, because you get a point as you're working the skills. And I had allocated them, and the system had forgot I had done that. So now I'm going to go to stab, and I should be able to assign the point. I got to hit assign, and I should go to stab. And now that point's been, and I'm going to hit confirm. And so that has been, now I should be able to now put that in the 2 slot, because it's an ability I now know. And now I should be able to find that rat that just walked by me and give him a stab. See how more efficient that was killing that critter by using the stab command, and then I can hit the 1 to put the sword back in. And then I'm just going to continue. You're going to see me continue doing this, swapping out. Because guess what? Tarkus is trying to break it. You know, they told me they fixed it, so Tarkus is going to try to break it again. All right, so now I should be able to loot this and move on to do other things. Now, with my sword, I can use it to take down trees, these taller bushes. As I said in my other video, these smaller bushes can't be destroyed, so don't waste your time on them. You're not going to get anything out of them. Same thing goes with the trees. You need the axe, the lumber axe. All right, so we're just going to make our way. I'm more or less looking for beasties, you know, like something to fight. And I am going to pick stuff up on my way through. And the pick stuff up is just the E command. E is in Edward. And wood is going to be important to you for this game. You know, a lot of things are going to require it. This field is full of wheat that will allow you to do some cooking recipes. And it does tell you if you try to hit E on this that you need a suitable tool. But you can use your sword, it looks like, to get the bare minimum. See where I got like 111 of that? Okay, so there's a cotton field up here. So the game has a fog of war. We started down here. This is where we started. And if you're going to try to do the strategy I'm doing is just to find the beasties, to fight them, always look for these red icons. I guess there was another one over here that I could have gone to. So I'm just going to go south here and try to open up the fog of war and then pick up items as I go. And if you're not familiar with what fog of war means, that's all this black stuff around the area. And it doesn't reveal itself until your character goes through those locations. So I'm right at the edge of the other Fog of War that I had unlocked. Okay, so here's the horse. Now, I think if I hit, okay, somebody said I had to hit K to feed this thing. You're supposed to throw something out. You might have to put it in your quick slot, but you throw something out for the horse to, oh, that little, it's like, get away from me, get away. You're bugging me. Oh, it sits right back down. It's like, dude, I just scared your ass. That took too much energy. I'm gonna lay down and take a nap. So when I go to tame this thing, I gotta throw it some food. I don't think it's gonna want to. Maybe white mushrooms. Let's see if I can throw a white mushroom at it. So 3. Okay, 3 allows me to consume it. How do I throw it to him? So I thought I read somewhere under K. That's where you do it. Let me see if that makes any sense. Do I have to just put it in my hand, maybe? No? Or maybe I just drop it on the ground? That could be it. What if I go to the... I'm learning the game, guys. I just like everyone else. I know that part of the... Now, where'd my mouse cursor go? Okay, where'd my mouse cursor go? And now the quick slots won't work. Oh, there they go. There they go now. Okay. All right. So I guess I have to go to inventory to get the mouse button. Okay. So if I grab that and just drop it on the ground, can I do that? Is it on the ground? I don't see it. I know I dropped it. Oh, there it is. There it is on the ground right there. I'm not sure if that horse will come over and eat that, or if I need to get closer to her, or if there's a certain point what I need to... I mean, I hadn't done this in the other quest log. If I go to J, getting a mount, throw food to a horse... Oh, I gotta throw it. Well, how on the earth do I do that? If I can't put it in my... I'll have to go on the forums and see how they did that. Because if I can't put it in my hand to throw it, and if I put it in my quick slot and I go to use it, I consume it. I'm not really sure. I guess I'll figure that out. I'm not gonna waste you guys' time. This is more about testing the system and figuring out how to throw something is just going to be something I'll have to learn. Oh, getting a mount. Throw, oh, it says right over there next to the mini map. Throw food to the horse. Drop food from inventory. Hold left mouse button to pick it up and R mouse button to throw. Oh, so you got to put it on the ground for, okay, I see it now that so I've got to remember that there's an informational screen under the mini map that you got to pay more attention to. I would like that in a different location because it's hard to really, so basically what it's saying to me is it's hard to really see. It says drop it on the ground and then pick it up. Okay, okay, hold to pick it up. It says hold left mouse button to pick it up. Maybe I have to not have the sword in my hand. Okay, why can I not? Okay, so it won't put the sword away. Oh, because okay, this is one of the inventory things that they were supposed to have fixed. See, the system no longer sees that I have the weapon. Even though I still possess the weapon, it's disappeared out of the inventory slot. And the only way to fix that, I believe, is to make another item and equip it and force the sword back into your inventory. Because right now I can't do anything with, I can't get rid of the sword, and I think because I can't get rid of the sword, I can't do what they're asking me to do by holding left down and picking that up. Because I think I have to have my hands free. So I can't really do anything right now because I can't get the sword out of my hands. So what we want to do is go to the crafting window. I think the easiest way to resolve this is to craft something that I can easily craft. Oh, I'm missing all the components. So I now need to go find more. I thought this got resolved, and it obviously has not got resolved, because the disappearing of your item out of your inventory is something that needs to get resolved. I mean, this is one of the first things that I had reported to them, was my sword goes into my hand, but my rest of my inventory doesn't see that it exists anymore, so I can't manage it. I can't get it out of my hands anymore. All right, so how many logs do I've got? Let's go to crafting and see. It looks like I can crafting woodlands. Okay, rewards. Craft a primitive weapon, equip the weapon, defeat an enemy. Okay, rewards. Okay, so that one. Okay, that one's still sitting in my objectives quest log, but I have fulfilled its. That's weird. All right. Let's go back to crafting. I can craft another sword. I'm going to do that. So now I'll go to my inventory. All right. So I lost that first sword. It disappeared completely because the system basically forgot about that I was holding it. So now that I've got it in my an actual sword again in my system, I'm going to pull it out. This is what I was testing. This is what I was trying to do. I was trying to make the system gimp out. So I'm going to try that throw thing now. Okay. Guess what? I'd also lost all my inventory. See, all the items that I had picked up are gone. And because I'm under the all items category, they're gone. So the pelts, the rat pelts, everything. And this comes down to the save file management. It's tricky with Unreal Engine. It really is. I've tested video games after video games after video games, and it always comes down to the syncing of the save file. How the system saves the inventory and when it saves it, when it saves the character, and all that stuff. And it's not an easy thing for a developer to do, to get that dance right, that syncing of the save file. It's clearly malfunctioning because I'm clearly losing inventory. It's forgetting about the sword. So that saving syncing process where it's trying to save what's on your character is not happening. And granted, it's part of the inventory system where they claim, oh, we fixed these inventory swapping issues. But if the system is not saving that transferring of data and it's forgetting about it, then fixing it at the GUI end, meaning the interface end, and not fixing it at the saved end is going to cause problems, because the system needs to be able to recognize that you have the sword, and the sword shouldn't disappear just because the wind blew left instead of right. You know what I mean? It needs to stay. The system needs to remember this stuff. I'm going to try to get some more wood here, because I have a feeling, and this was part of the testing I did yesterday, was I was just every step I took forward, I was taking 4 steps back, because the system was deleting inventory like we just saw, and every time the wind blew north, the sword would disappear out of my inventory. And you're probably asking yourself, maybe it's a durability thing. Well, no, the items don't seem to have a durability effect. They don't seem to be affected by durability loss. I think once you've got them, you've got them. That's what I believe. It looks like I leveled up. I'm going to put some points into endurance. And again, this came down to save sync files yesterday, that every point I put in here, I'd hit accept. And then within like 20 minutes, it would tell me that I had to reallocate the points. Like it wasn't saving the fact that I just dumped those 3 points into endurance. It would be like, oh, you still haven't done these points. And it's like, yeah, I did do those points. It's just not seeing the progress, which is fine. I mean, and it's the thing is you're going to see this kind of syncing issues when it comes to playtesting. It just happens this way. Imagine how hard it's going to be for them when they open up the multiplayer. Because when I was testing Riven World, I mean, when you're playing single player, it wasn't as bad. But when you have multiple people on the map and multiple people are moving inventory from boxes to crafting tables and all this stuff, the system was just dumping a load of crap because people were like, oh, I put all that in the crafting table and it disappeared. And it's like, and it was gone forever. And it was like, well, it's because the system is not saving it correctly in between. It's, the inventory management at the server save side was not doing well. It was, and it was problematic. And it was because, and especially if I was giving items to somebody, if I gave somebody items and then if I did an Alt F4 and closed the game and logged back in, I still had all the items and the person had all the items that I gave them. So you could duplicate items, and it's a known problem with Unreal Engine if you don't do the saving right. If you could duplicate items because the system wasn't recognizing the transfer of the assets, it wasn't saving it to the save file, but it was at the end where the guy was still online. So that guy stayed online, he still had the items, I logged off, logged back in, and I still had all the items. And I mean, it's a way to kind of gimp the system, and Diablo 4 was plagued with it. Playing Diablo 4, that was the first thing we tested. Let's see how this trading system works. And we were duping items for 3 days. And they were like, wow, we don't really know how to fix this. I don't know. And it's like, well, first off, you kind of need the save file to fire during the transfer. But the thing is you can really bog down your video game if you're sending so many save commands to the save file. I mean, that's the well, get away from me, Horace. I don't want nothing to do with you. I mean, that's part of the balancing of the file is, why are you chasing me? You were sleeping. Go back to sleep. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy, building a video game. It really isn't, regardless of what program you use to do it. It's just that I'm more familiar with Unreal Engine and how that works because I worked very closely with the developers of Riven World. And we would discuss for hours, how do we want this to fire? How often do we want this to fire? Is it going to cause system lag? Is it going to cause crashing? Does it make sense to do it at this, because it all comes down to logic too. Well, okay, that's a bush I can't. The logical process of how it saves, in what order it saves, and packaging that data up into a file that might be, because back in the day, it'd be a one-to-one relationship where you send the save file to the database. But nowadays, you can bundle up an entire file that has multiple things in it and send that over and unbundle it at the other end. And that saves on the transfer of the data. I mean, so it doesn't take as long for the exchange, the data exchange to occur because you're basically zipping it up on one end and you're unzipping it at the other, and the transfer in between is 10 times faster by doing it that way. It's all geek speak, I know. But overall, the game seems to be working better. Let's just look at my my inventory here and just verify that I had lost those items. All right, let's go to and it remembered my skill placement, so that's good to know that that's happening, and it didn't forget it again. And it has remembered the stab that I took, so that's good. So that's working. Let me just swap the sword a few more times. Oh, okay. What it's doing is, it looks like it's consuming, when I'm using the one command, maybe I didn't lose those items. I might have consumed them because every time I swap my weapon, it's trying to eat food or whatever I had in my. So maybe, well, I wouldn't have eaten the rat pelts, but you can see every time I swap my sword, it wants to. The character is soaked. The poison resistance is increased. Oh, because I'm in the rain. Okay, that's a debuff because I'm in the rain. That's good. That's oh, that's good to know. The character is saturated and cannot eat anymore. Yeah, I'm thinking that it's trying to force food down my throat every time I swap my weapon. That's cheeky, huh? But yeah, every time I swap my weapon, my character is getting I don't have any more mushrooms in my inventory, but it's consuming a mushroom every time. Yeah, I'm eating free mushrooms right now because it's replenishing the mushroom buff every time I swap the weapon. See? So I have infinite mushroom buff as long as I swap my weapon. And I'm getting infinite food consumption every time I swap my weapon because I think at one point I had taken that mushroom and dragged it down into this quick slot. And when I dragged that mushroom down into the quick slot, I think it merged it somehow with the actions of the one command. So let me get rid of that command. And guess what? That caused my weapon to disappear. By moving that command out of my quick slot, the weapon is no longer in my inventory. I wonder if it's in my hand still. See, it's still in my hand, but it's been removed again from my inventory because it's no longer in the slot. See, the weapon slot, it's gone. So now I've got to make another sword, right? I mean, that's where we're at because I have to have a sword. And I'm trying to test the fact that swapping of the weapon will not cause that consumption problem after getting rid of that. All right, so now I'm going to, okay, let's get this back over here. And now I'm going to drag down to the quick slot that weapon, training sword. So if I hit 1, it should put it in my hand. And if I hit 1, it should pull it out of my hand. Okay, so it's still allowing me to consume free food. So it's a bug that it's like thinking that those mushrooms are still down in that quick slot that I had already consumed or was trying to throw to the horse, but it's bound somehow to this action. So when you the buffs disappeared. Look, all the buffs just disappeared. Oh, they're back now. All right. So when you scroll over this, I got 1 agility and +4 focus, and it's telling me that I have 14 minutes. But watch this: when I swap my weapon, oh, now it won't do it at all. I bet it's because the weapon again is disappeared from my inventory. Yeah, so the weapon's gone again from my inventory. It's on my back. You can see it. It's in my hand. See? I can attack with it, but it continues to not stay in my inventory. I mean, these are the things that you test when you're testing. I mean, it's a great game. I haven't really gotten knee deep into it. I'm like ankle deep into the game because every time I get ankle deep into the game, I find problematic issues that just tell me that these problematic issues need to get addressed and fixed like now. Because every time they do a now fix, I am going to start my character over. So I'm not going to sit here and test this anymore because I know tomorrow when they dump a patch, I will be starting a new character, another core build again. Because to test it properly, you got to do it that way. So this is where I'm at with it. I'm still on board with this game, even though we're kind of seeing some silly stuff here. This game, I think, has a lot of potential. And I'm going to be testing the crap out of it for the next couple weeks. As long as they're willing to keep the test phase up and willing to patch it when things come in, I'm willing to test it. Just like Riven World, when I tested for them. I was testing that game every day for them. They would do a patch, I tested. I tested it for like 8 months for them. And that game is pretty smooth now, and I was one of their main core testers. So I was able to systematically say, if you fix this in this order, I believe that it'll be easier for everyone, and we'll get a better sense of where the real bugs are, because this saving of the swapping of weapons and weapon disappearing, this again I believe is just a syncing issue from the system remembering that I have those items. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to, and this might get resolved if I start another character and start another world seed. Maybe it could be part of that process too, that the world seed is not done right. It didn't generate correctly, and I'm going to be plagued with this problem regardless of what they do. Who knows? You know what I mean? All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and this has been the Tarkus Zone.